Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi washabbihi wa barik wa sallim. This one. Okay. It's nice to be back at DTC, although it's extremely cool. It is in this particular venue. A few years back, bila USM decided to pursue QS, there was a Nobel Prize winner. And someone posed the question to that Nobel Prize winner, what do you think of rankings? And the answer that this person said was, do not compromise your values, but be pragmatic with external assessments or external evaluations. Do not compromise your values. Meaning to say, as a young academic in the crowd, I thought that was a very nicely put answer. It's not committing to anything. But what he's essentially saying is that you look at your fundamentals. If your fundamentals are strong, whatever external assessment that you'll face, you'll excel. So I took that to heart, and since this is a sharing session, so we share a bit on USM punya achievements, and we agree completely dengan what has been mentioned by Puan Suraya and also Dr. Nazia, that we don't see ourselves as competing with other universities. We are in the same boat. We are part of the nation building, and we've been sharing whatever we've gained with all universities. In fact, we are competing against ourselves. This is Prof. Rahman, this is not me. My DVC, it would take a lot for me to look like that, especially the hair in the department. Okay, this is not by choice. It's not by choice. Okay. So yes, one of the things that we are proud about is that we are fourth in the world with regards to SDGs. We are first in the world in terms of SDG 16 and 17. We are also in the top 20, top 10 with regards to no poverty, zero hunger, quality education, gender equality, and clean water and sanitation. In fact, we've made improvements in 13 out of 17 SDGs. And this is our branding. This is USM since the beginning of Apex. At least people know USM as championing SDGs. And being fourth in the world is something that we're extremely proud about. And we've been sharing this with all the other universities as well. We are probably the only university that has actually put a task to ourselves to advocate ESG as well, environmental, social, and governance. By the way, this talk is complemented by this booklet as well. It's something a bit more comprehensive about USM. So I'll be referring to this booklet as well. So in terms of social, for example, we are acutely aware of the composition of our students, our staff, B40, M40, T20. We are extremely proud that 25% of our top management are females. It's 5% less than the 30% target. But our middle management, 164 deans, directors, 43% are females as well. We have one director who's an international staff, and also one dean who's from Orang Asli. We also run a teaching hospital, and we see about actually 500,000 patients a year. With regards to carbon footprint, I think we are leading the pack. As you can see, there's a double-digit reduction in our carbon footprint. In the next 2 or 3 years, we are committing to cap our carbon footprint to 4 tons equivalent per person per year. We are actually at the moment hovering at about 4.5. We are extremely proud of our solar project. We have solar panels in our main campus, in Kubang Krian, and also in Nibong Tebal. At zero financial outlay from USM. This solar panel in the main campus cost the installers about 30 million ringgit. No financial outlay from you. In fact, in the past 3 years, USM have actually bring in 95 million ringgit worth of development at zero financial outlay from USM. And with this solar panel, for example, we save about 3 million a year, and we actually again reduce our carbon footprint and increase our SDG punya commitment. So we'll be opening our solid waste management. We have built gyms, sports facilities, and a mixed development in Nibong Tebal as well. On top of that, as mentioned by UPM today, we are also very open to industry. We will have a 30 million ringgit ground satellite station in USM. and more industries are going to sponsor facilities in USM as well. So that helps. We've grown in terms of international students. In fact, we went from 9th overall to 1st in 2021, despite COVID as well. That's a 51% growth in terms of international students. And we have about 38 offshore programs, and we see an increase of 7% in terms of students taking science and technology entering USM. And all that are important because it meant something for our financial stability. In the past 6 months, in 2022, we collect more income compared to what we collect in a year, 2 or 3 years ago. We are going to enter our second half of the year with about 37 million surplus in terms of operational expenditure. This is something that is rare from any universities. So, and our aim is to be the wealthiest UA in Malaysia in the next 2 or 3 years. And that was enabled by the growth in terms of international students, our offshore programs, and our postgraduates as well. So again, we were the first in terms of intake of international postgraduates last year. So we try to rely less in terms of OE from MOHI. At least we post operational surplus, if you like. Sorry, trying to figure this out. So that is my point number one, in the sense that if you look at the finance, if you look at our growth, if you look at the areas that we are addressing, I think USM can be considered as a university that has strong fundamentals. And as I said just now, if you have strong fundamentals, whatever external assessment that you'll be slapped with, you'll excel. And again, all those, including the 95 million development yang kita dapat at zero financial outlay, we've shared with all the other UAs as well. We've been very open in that. So I'm not going to bore you with this. You saw the performance. So, and I think Prof. Nazia and Prof. Saria has actually mentioned quite a lot as well. We know where we are strong in, and we know where we need to work on. So we took encouragement from all the improvements that we've made in terms of academic reputation, employer reputation, and international student ratio. So these are the things that I'd like to share why USM feels that we are quite optimistic in terms of QS, whether we receive the external funding atau tidak. One of the fundamental things that we saw a major change is in terms of our grants. If you see from that, we rely less on RU grant for our academics because of the increase in all those grants. In fact, in 2020 and 2021, for national grants, USM is the largest recipient of FRGS, PRGS, and TRGS. In fact, this year pun, I think PRGS, we are the largest. These are fundamentals. If you have the grant, you have the students. If you have the students, you have the outcome, which are publication. International grant grew by almost double. National grant grew by almost 50%. Industry grants grew double as well. And this is what we actually measure the performance of our academics. Kita tak measure dari segi dia punya publication sangat. We actually measure on whether you secure grants, whether you've been a good supervisor atau tidak. One crazy thing that we did in USM is that we don't set targets to schools. We allow schools to set target for themselves. So school yang tak boleh publish, they have to excel in something else, postgraduates, income dan sebagainya. And as an institution, we progress as one. Same goes with number of paper per staff, and also in terms of citation, we've grown. We are 2 years behind UM when it comes to citation, 2 years. We've cut it down, the gap to 2 years. If you refer to the booklet, you'll see that kita punya quality research Q1 and Q2 have grown almost triple in the past 3 years. Again, this is because kita bagi autonomy to our staff to just do quality work. There's no, we don't put too much pressure, but the number shows that people are gravitating towards that. So to grow Q1, Q2 by 3 times in 2 years is a feat. In fact, last year, 2021, if you look at Scopus, USM is the largest in terms of producing Scopus papers. We went from number 5 2 years ago to number 1. All that through the strategy of engagement and allowing people to just perform as they like. And we don't set rankings as part of our strategy. And to increase that is, again, in a way, is acknowledging that we've been focusing on the right fundamentals. One of the things that we have to work on is kita punya international faculty. So we've introduced this gig economy punya hiring. What is this? This is basically kita bayar orang gaji lump sum, about 5,000 to 7,000 for 1 year. They don't have to come to USM. They're not a full-time, in a way, full-time academic yang kita buat contract, but they're willing to accept this 5,000 to 7,000 per month. These are industrial fellows and academic fellows that have extended our employment from 13 countries to 37 countries. And we have people who have been pengarah hospital dan sebagainya coming to USM. The whole idea is to diversify the offering of our courses. They come here, they come to USM online as teachers and sebagainya, but at the same time they contribute to research. To expand your list of staff going from 13 countries to 37 countries is, again, it's a big jump, and we hope to see that number appearing in kita punya QS punya assessment in the next 1 or 2 years. We've shared this again with other universities as well, how we did our gig economy. And we've appointed about 144 gig economy at the cost of less than 5 million ringgit, and we still get all the diversity from industry and also from other academia as well. Of course, we put lots of emphasis on our students. We have this hebat agenda. So when they graduate from USM, they have their transcript and also they have their skill or competency in the transcript, and that is reflected again in the amount of money that we've put in competition as well. So hebat, for example, is the first group of students yang launched a rocket dekat New Mexico. Did extremely well, and now I have rockets in my arsenal as well. So kalau ada school yang tak dengar cakap, saya just launch a rocket to the school. So it's easy to run a university. You have this and in your arsenal. We also have, kita pun ada drone juga, drone yang carry missile as well. So that missile pun saya yang pegang dia punya button, no problem. So kalau KPT tak bagi kita extra ni, kita pun boleh hantar roket. I'm just kidding. We put a lot of effort in looking at GE. We know that we are higher than the national average, but we are not happy because, well, last year our GE was about 80+% higher than the national average, but we know that about 45% are not working in the area that they were trained in. They are underemployed, and 1 in every 4 of those underemployed actually dapat gaji less than the minimum wage. So this is this year 62.5%. And we even track kat mana dia orang kerja dan sebagainya. We have a lot of brain drain as well. At least 13% of our students go to Singapore and Europe. So this is something that USM continue to work on. We've been talking with industries, MIDA dan sebagainya. We know that, for example, multinational companies, MIDA akan bagi term and conditions. They have to have 50% local content dan sebagainya. Cuma kita tak tahu, kita tak tuntut. So this is what we're doing now in USM. Kita nak tuntut apa saja term yang MIDA bagi kat MNCs, to make sure that our students land in terms of internship dan sebagainya. So this is something that, again, we look very closely. It's very close to our hearts, knowing that 60% of our students are B40s. We are lucky to be in Penang. 50% of the GDP of the EE sector is in Penang, so we make full use of that. This is our commitment up to first half of this year in terms of industrial engagement. It has increased tremendously. A lot of industries now are lining up to see USM for us to provide the talents as well. Sampai tak menang tangan lah at this point of time. And again, we've been looking, kita jumpa Unimap, kita jumpa UM to say, would you like to join us if we have any extra demand for students dan sebagainya. So we are in conversation with that. We have 3U, 1I. Our commitment for the next 3 years is that to make sure that all our students go on 3U, 1I ataupun 2U, 2I. All 4,000 new intake. All. We don't want to see them in University Science Malaysia. After 2 years, you go off. We're getting offers from universities who wants our students in the 3rd year to work with them 20 hours a week, paid 1,500 ringgit per month, which is fantastic because they don't have to rely on PTPN dan sebagainya. So you want to try to push this some more. Again, these are all about working on the fundamentals so that kalau kata ada employer punya reputation in QS, we hope that by working with MNCs, for example, they would actually look at USM in a positive light. Again. And another thing is, people talk about impact. And one of the things that we are also measuring University Science Malaysia's performance is what is our impact to community. We are leading in this. We're leading in SDGs, and part of it is we're leading in our community engagement. Since 2019, we secure about 25 million ringgit worth of grants for community. And we've affected about 5,370 communities. Some communities grew their punya income annually, monthly income from 500 ringgit to 2 to 3,000 ringgit. And this year alone, I think we will receive about another 40 or 50 million from the likes of Teraju dan sebagainya. And these are some of the impacts that we measure ourselves. Contohnya kalau kita ada intervention by USM in terms of budak-budak SPM, we took 20 schools yang mana banyak budak-budak yang dapat grade E, F, G. Although saya bagi tahu ke anak saya, jangan risau, E is excellent, F is fantastic, A is awesome. But you know, we changed those people to become almost 100% of them lulus. No one gets an E and F. That's USM intervention. And also in terms of the community ataupun community engagement and also rural punya industry, some of the products that saw USM punya intervention are now in Japan, in US, in Saudi Arabia, in Shibuya, listed in Walmart, and so on and so forth. So those are again things that might not have direct relationship with QS, but working on strong fundamentals so that people don't question dari segi university RU tak ada impact to rakyat dan sebagainya lah. So we're trying to go on all cylinders in that sense. Yes, so I think I'd just like to conclude. I have 13 minutes. At this point of time, where I stand, again, I think this is a good opportunity for all of us. I'm extremely proud to see the performance of other universities. I think you guys did amazing. I feel very small. But at the same time, I think USM, we're building on our strong fundamentals. You saw the numbers in terms of academic offerings, research outcome, finance as well, and we're leading in ESG. And that's one of this is what our orang kata rallying punya call, Apex, championing people and planet. And finally, one of the things that we are also very proud about is that we have 3 globally recognized living labs. CMAX is actually you can see CMAX in the booklet. CMAX is a private beach in hutan negara in Penang, where you can do ocean study, river study, forest study. And CMAX receive visitors from ambassadors, TYT, Raja Muda dan sebagainya. So this is something that is very visible because they're working on climate crisis and future food. REDAC is about water, and we have the first regional UNESCO chair for REDAC, and we have 5,000-year-old archaeology punya site. And what USM aspire to do in the next 3 years is that all our students, undergraduates and postgraduates, local and also international, will have to go there as part of their exposure. All of them should spend at least 1 or 2 weeks abroad. All of them should go into industry at least 1 year. And all of them has to do volunteerism. So all of USM students. Thank you so much. That's the sharing from USM.